Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Divedi, and in this segment today, we are going to discuss about National Nutrition Mission. This topic is important from the perspective of prelims and also from the perspective of GS mains papers. So let's begin with the topics of discussion that we are going to look at. Let's start with the topics of discussion, that is the news. Then we will move on to these topics gradually. So this is in the news because as we all know that Nutrition Mission, the National Nutrition Mission, under it only, the Poshan Mah, the month that is dedicated to the importance of nutrition, is being celebrated. And that is why we are discussing this topic. Now, Poshan Abhiyan, which was launched in the year 2018, it operates through two major things. First is, of course, the celebration of Poshan Mah, that is being celebrated since 2018, and that is in the month of September. Can you tell me why September is chosen for the celebration of Poshan Mah in the comment segment? Okay, so Poshan Mah is dedicated to having its dedication basically to social and behavioral changes with respect to tell everyone the significance of nutrition, and that goes through the importance of midday meals, proper age for marriage for adults and girls, having proper information about the different sorts of infection that could actually infect girls and vulnerable population, and making India open defecation free. So many sectors that can be touched upon are taken into consideration when it comes to nutrition in the Poshan Mah. And another important aspect is Poshan Vatika. That means having a specific ground or a specified or dedicated ground for harvesting those crops that are very nutritious in nature. Those could be anywhere. It could be in Gram Panchayats or even schools. Okay, so let's move forward and talk about the status of malnutrition in India. These are certain data that I have presented to you in order for you to understand the importance of data for mains exam basically. And the Food and Agriculture Organization estimates that 194.4 million people in India, that are 14.5% of the total population, these are undernourished. As a JAM study for the year 2018 said that the GDP suffered a decline of 4% due to malnutrition. Malnutrition basically means having not the proper amount of development that would have been otherwise if nutrition was given. And Indian Council of Medical Research also said that in 2017, malnutrition was the predominant risk in the socially and weaker section that are backward in nature. Global Burden of Diseases study in 2017 said malnutrition is among the leading cause of death and disability in India, and children suffering from malnutrition after growing up earn 20% less than those who are well developed because they got proper nutrition and not are malnutrition or undernourished. Okay, let's move on and talk about National Nutrition Mission or Poshan Abhiyan. So Poshan Abhiyan was launched on March 8, 2018, that is on Women's Day, from Jhunjhunu in Rajasthan, and it aims to make India malnutrition free India by 2022 by reducing stunting. Stunting means low height for age. Okay, low height for age, undernutrition and anemia. That means all these three sectors are taken into account, that is anemia among young children, women and adults and girls, and reduce low birth weight by 2%, 2%, 3% and 2% per annum respectively, and to bring down stunting among children in the age group of 0 to 6 years from 38.4% to 25% by 2022. Now, we also have certain catalysts which are named as Swasth Bharat Preraks. These individuals, they work in coordination with the district officials in each district to have an awareness program and implementation of the policies of the government when we talk about the Poshan Abhiyan. And recently, Poshan Abhiyan 2 was also inaugurated by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. And National Council on Nutrition, India's Nutrition Challenges. This council is an all India council under Poshan Abhiyan only for giving policy directives to different district officials in order to enhance the amount of nutrition in one's food. And National Council on Nutrition, this is what I was talking about. It is headed by the Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog. This could be a prelims question, keep that in mind. Okay? Alright, let's move on and talk about initiatives already undertaken by the Government of India in order to reduce malnutrition. First, Integrated Child Development Scheme that works basically under the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and it wants to have a population that is vulnerable in nature to be having proper targeted benefits when it comes to having nutrition, and especially for the children below the age of 6 years. Also, Anemia Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, this was launched in 2018 in order to have an intensification for providing iron to adolescent girls, to pregnant women, and also young children. Now, if we talk about midday meal scheme, this has been under the Ministry of Education, erstwhile Ministry of Human Resources and Development, since the year 1995. And under this, very warm hot cooked meal and hot cooked food is provided to those students who belong to from class first to class 8th. Okay, keep that also in mind. From class 1st to 8th in government aided schools. Okay, so basically the motive of MDM scheme was to have those children come to school who do not have proper social security net and those who cannot get proper food. But the second, that was the primary reason. The second one was that nutrition should be given to those children who cannot afford it so that they have better learning outcomes. Then we also have the National Food Security Act of 2013, which of course dedicates its entire powers to provide food to everyone in India, especially those who cannot afford it. And the One Nation, One Ration scheme is of course under it only, is there to provide migratory laborers the benefit of accessing food grains from any PDS shop, even if they do not belong to that district. They are just going to another district for work. So Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana is implemented in every district since the year 2017 to have proper cash transfer benefits when they are pregnant, and so that they do not lose wages and of course provide for themselves. Then we also have food fortification. That means whatever food that we are consuming right now might lack certain nutrients. So these nutrients are included into the food through fortification. That is also another initiative by the government. So let's talk about certain challenges. First challenge is monoculture agricultural practices. That means since the Green Revolution, a lot of attention has been given to those crops that are commercial in nature, especially certain crops benefited a lot like wheat and rice, and certain actually went out of our entire food system such as millets. So changing food practices were also there. So millets and such coarse grains which are actually nutritious in nature like bajra, they also went out of our food system. So the second problem is that nutritious food since the beginning when they were in our food system, there was no such problem as malnutrition. But now if we talk about the current scenario, hidden hunger is there. Hidden hunger means even if you're having food, your stomach might feel full, but the body which needs certain nutrients were not given to the body, and that is called hidden hunger. Then poverty, if we talk about many people who aren't able to have the amount of food they should be getting in order to work properly, that is of course impacted by poverty, which is a vicious circle. Gender injustice, now this is another aspect of this only. Undernourished and malnutrition girls, adolescent girls, they grow into undernourished women and then they produce undernourished children. So this is a vicious cycle. Again, lack of sanitation and clean drinking water, malnutrition and certain other stuff such as not having proper sanitary features, not having proper awareness about infection, that also goes hand in hand, because undernourished children and women, they get infected very easily. and infection takes a toll on their body. Time and again, when it becomes a continuous practice, undernourishment occurs. Again, migration. Here, if one ration card scheme comes into practice more robustly, this could be tackled with. So, whenever migration occurs, food security also gets threatened. That is another problem. Let's move on to the way forward. First way forward is multi-sectoral approach. Not only providing fortification in the food, providing proper food arrangements, but also other sectors such as making India defecation free, having proper sanitary and sanitation practices, that should also be touched upon. And integrated nutrition policy, it goes from here only. When we take a multi-sectoral food approach, integrated nutrition policy that will work on each and every sector in tandem will come along. Along with that, we need decentralization. A centralization feature is good, but decentralization is even better when we talk about reaching to the rural areas. Gram panchayats there can play a very strong role. Again, diversification not only in terms of policy implementation, but also in terms of agricultural practices. More and more attention should be given to those, along with wheat and rice, to those crops which are very important in nature for nutrition, and strengthening Manrega to ensure better food security, because if proper employment benefits in terms of money such as salary will pass through those people who are in dire need of it, they will of course first of all try to spend the salary on food. So that is something we can talk about as a way forward. Let's move on and look at our means-based question. Even after having a number of schemes addressing malnutrition in India, malnutrition remains a mighty challenge for India. Discuss. Okay. So please write it in 250 words. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.